Hi, it's Ingrid, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This will most likely be the first video of 2024 and it's time for my 2023 wrap-up. I have all of the books I read this year here in front of me. I think I ended on 51. I can't go out of this. I think it's 51. It's either 51 or 52. And I'm happy with it. My goal for this year was 51 books and I did achieve that. And I'm putting my goal for next year as 80 books because I was in a lot of reading slumps this year, and if I weren't, I would have read a lot more. And also I feel like this next semester at least isn't as hard for me. I've gotten used to the university thing and I know how to study. I think I'm more comfortable with my whole university experience, so I'm hoping to have a lot of time to read. But anyways, I saw Destiny Sidwell do this, where she just reviewed every book she's read in 2023 in a few sentences. I'm going to try to keep it short. Some books might be more to talk about than others, but I'm not giving a full review here. So I think we're just gonna get started with the first book I read in 2023. Also, I feel like I need to mention that the sun is about to go down, so it could be darker soon, so I'm trying to do this very quickly because there's no light here in the winter. And also the wind is crazy, so you might hear that sometimes. I don't know how well you hear it on camera, but I can hear it and can't do anything about it. But anyways, the first book I read in 2023 was Solitaire by Alice Oseman. Before reading this, I really disliked Tori. If you didn't know, this is about Charlie's sister, Tori. And I know that technically this was written before the Heartstopper novels, but I read this after. And in Heartstopper I didn't like her, but in this book I got more of like her personality and her feelings, and I could relate to her a lot more. So I did really enjoy this book, and I think I gave it 5 stars. I'm going to check my ratings. 5 stars, but I think as of right now I would lower it to maybe a 4.5, 4.25. It's a 4.5. Also, I feel like I should just say that my opinions on some of these books might have changed from when I read them, so I'm going to tell you my current rating and my first rating. Next book I read was Circe by Madeline Miller, and I was very excited for this. I read it in a celebrity recommendation videos. Elizabeth Olsen loved it, and I thought I would love it because I really love The Song of Achilles by the same author. But I DNF'd it. I'm a little over halfway through it, but then I gave up because it was boring and there was no plot, there was no story. I don't understand the point of the book. Like, nothing was happening. So I gave up because I couldn't get through it. Then I read The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I think I gave this 3 stars. I'm still on the same rating. I enjoyed it, I liked that I read it, but I don't really have many feelings towards it. I didn't connect with this on like a very intense level, so I'm stuck on a 3 star. Then I read Norwegian Wood by Murakami, and I was not expecting to like this at all. I thought I would hate it, but I read it for a video, so I had to. And I was surprised. I know that there's a bit of mixed opinions on this, but I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was like a great story and very interesting, but it was something about it that was just so comforting and so real. And I love a real story. I can't have that all the time, but every once in a while it's nice to have something that just feels real. 5 stars. Then I read This Winter by Alice Oseman. This is a Heartstopper novella. I think it's a prequel to Solitaire, but this follows the whole Spring family. I don't remember anything that happened in this book. I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm going to check just in case. Yeah, I can't remember. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I read this whole series that was out in the beginning of the year. There's one book that was recently released in English, I think, so I haven't read that. But I read this and I enjoyed it. It's not something very special. I don't think about it a lot. I gave it 3 stars. Wait. 3 stars? It's about time travel. And I like the concept of it. I like the continuity. I always knew like what was happening, but not what was happening. That doesn't make any sense, but I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I read it, and I'm going to read the whole series. Then I read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe, same author, second book in the series. I think I gave this 4 stars. In the beginning I was just getting used to this writing style and the story, but in this one I felt like I really understood it, so I enjoyed it more. Then I'm a big Witcher fan of the show, so I decided to read the books. So I read The Last Wish. This is a collection of short stories. How many is there? I think it's 6? No. Wait, I'm so confused. It's the other one that's 6. This one is like a bunch of smaller ones, isn't it? It doesn't tell me how many there are. But I mixed them up a bit. This one was the first one. It's just a bunch of short stories in there. And they go like back and forth in time with different stories. And I enjoyed it. I gave it... I actually don't remember. I gave it 4 stars. Because I do like these stories. It took me a while to get used to the writing style. It's very heavy. And it took me some time, but I did enjoy it, and I'm glad I read it, and I'm planning on reading the whole series. Then I read One of Us Is Next by Karen and McManus, the second book in the One of Us Is Lying series. I'm a big fan of it. I like YA mystery. I haven't read a lot of it, but I enjoy it. The story of this, thinking back on it, I think I would rate it maybe a 4, 3.75 or a 4, but I think I gave it 5 stars at the time. I did, but I would lower it to a 3.75. Or 4. I don't know, one of them. Because I did enjoy the story, but I've read a lot better. And I know that I like the first book more. But I like the characters. And I like the story. Next up. I have like all of my books in piles. And the ones I've just done are like spread out over here. And it's just not great. Because they're falling. But then I read my favorite book, Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and this, I love this book so much. This is my baby. This is, if I had to save one book from my shelf, it would be this. It's just perfection. 5 stars. King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. I was confused in the beginning. I didn't like exactly how it was going. We're following 2 different stories, and out of the 3 main characters we are following, I only liked 2 of them. But I have to admit, I liked the 3rd one a bit more at the end. There were some things in here that I really wasn't expecting, so I'm so glad I managed to keep myself spoiler free. Because that just, wow. But I think I gave this 4.5 stars. It's not as good as Crooked Kingdom, but it's up there. Then I read The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, my first Lynn Painter book. I also think this was my first YA romance. I read this for a annotating for the first time video. Don't like my annotations that much, but I did enjoy this book, and Nick was a very good book boyfriend. This is like she wakes up and relives the same day over and over again, and I enjoyed it. Sometimes it gets a bit repetitive, but I did enjoy it, and I think I gave it 5 stars. Then I decided that I was going to start reading classics, and I picked up The Picture of Dorian Gray. I wasn't sure how to feel about it, because in the beginning, this book has an introduction, and I read it. I wish I didn't, because first of all, it's incredibly boring, but it's also spoiling the story. So I would recommend you to skip the introduction and then start just directly on the book, because the book was amazing. I loved it, and I'm so glad I read it, and I'm excited to watch the movie. I gave it 5 stars. Then I bought an ebook. I didn't buy it because it was free, but I read it on Apple Books. The Pearl by John Steinbeck. I don't remember what I rated it, but I think I would give it like a 3 or a 2.75. I gave it a 3 star. It was okay. It was short. It wasn't something special. I don't know if I would recommend it. If you want to read a classic, it's a good one to read, I guess. But I don't think I'm ever going to reread it. Then the next book I read, I'm looking at my list and also on here. Like, this is confusing because I have, where did I put it? Ali Hazelwood is one of my favorite authors. She has this, Loath to Love You, which is 3 short stories, 3 novellas, and I read all of them this year. The first one I read was Under One Roof. I gave that one 5 stars, I think. I would probably lower it to a 4. I don't remember. Well, I remember the story, and I did enjoy it. But compared to other books I've read now, it isn't as good. And I think that I haven't had a proper rating system before. So I gave it 5 stars at a time, and I loved it, and I'm so glad I read it, and I'm probably going to reread it. So we're just gonna stick to a 5 star. If I reread it, it might change. Then I read another Ali Hazelwood book. I read Love on the Brain. I get a little confused and mixed up in all these stories, but I think this one is about them working at NASA. Yes, it is. I don't remember a lot of the story, but I remember loving it, and I said I might even love it more than The Love Hypothesis. And that was the first book I ever loved, so I must have loved it a lot. 5 stars. Then on to the third book in the Coffee series. I read Before Your Memory Fades. I think I also rated this 3 stars. No, 4 stars actually. This one was different. It wasn't set in the same place as the others, and that kind of threw me off a bit. But I did enjoy it. It was kind of something new while also keeping it the same. So I'm excited for the next one. 4 stars. On to another classic. This one took me a little bit longer to read, but it's Pride and Prejudice. Honestly, I didn't think I would like it, but I ended up giving it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. It was a good romance story without like the cliche romances we get now, I feel. And I was very frustrated with a lot of the characters, but I also ended up loving said character. So 4 stars. Then I read a Norwegian book, Rottejegeren by Max Manus, on May 8th, the day the World War II ended, because this is one of like the most important people in the Norwegian resistance during World War II. Wrote this book about experiences other people had. He says himself that he didn't, but I feel like he might have had the same experience in the way he told the story. But this is basically about the people who their job was to kill people, like kill the traitors, the people working with the Nazis. And it's after the war and them like dealing with PTSD from that. I really enjoyed this book. It was interesting to see, and also it was very easy to read. It's fast-paced and everything. It was good, and I'm glad I read it. Then I read Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I tabbed it. I fell in love. 5 stars. I tried to read Mindset. This is a self-help book, a psychology book, and it's not for me. I think it's interesting because a lot of these are things I've learned in school, either in psychology class or in university. It's like relevant to a lot of the things I'm learning, so I'm probably going to read it at some point, but not for enjoyment, but to learn. Then I read Things We Hide from the Light, the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. I gave this 4 stars. I was very frustrated with this one actually. I was bored in the beginning. Like, the only good thing about it was the spice. Nash was annoying. I didn't like him. It changed a lot, which is understandable, but I just didn't like him, and I didn't like Lena either. So, didn't really like it. It was very underwhelming, and I predicted a lot of the things, and the big secret that they talk about at the end wasn't really that big. You were just blowing it out of proportion, just talk about it. So I don't know why I gave it 5 stars. I would probably lower it to 3.75, 3.5. Then I kept on with the feminist novellas. I read Stuck With You. I rated that one 4.5 stars. I didn't like it as much as the others in here, but I did enjoy it. What was it about? Oh, like, it just wasn't very special. I talk it out. It's a short story, so they don't really have time to do a lot. But I don't remember much of the story. But it was that like, Danish dude or whatever. I don't even remember. I probably would lower it, but I don't know. Every time I read a Hiii book, I'm just up there and like, oh my god, it's amazing. But thinking back on it, I don't remember much. And I skipped a book. I didn't mean to. Sorry. I read The Society for Soulless Girls. I tried reading thrillers. I'm trying to like branch out more. I gave this 4 stars. I'm seeing if I can find a review because I don't remember what I thought about it. But I can't. I finished it in a day, so like it has. I don't remember my feelings towards it. I remember like the story, but I don't at the same time. I think in the beginning it took some time to get used to, but by the end I was very excited, and I remember sitting here like I have to finish this book now. I have to see what happens. The characters were a bit annoying, and I wish they would have talked more. But I did end up loving the friendship that came out of this, and I did enjoy it. Next book is... I'm trying to make sure I don't skip someone, because I did read a few ebooks and I don't have them in my piles. I read You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus. I have loved her previous books, but this one I rated 3 stars. It was just boring. I don't really remember. Oh. Yeah. I don't remember much of it. I tried to read the back of it. They were skipping school and they see a dead person. It was underwhelming. I was expecting more. 3 stars. Then we read Below Zero, the last book in the Stamines novellas, and I really, really loved it. That was my favorite. I tabbed it. As you can see, 3 places. I didn't mean to. It just happened. I had to. I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. Then... not that one. Wait. I read Enola Holmes, The Case of the Missing Mars. I loved Enola Holmes, the movie, so I decided that I have to read the books as well. Like, the movies are such a comfort movie to me, so I decided to pick this up, and I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. This is a comfort book. I would really reread it again, probably soon. I love Enola. She's such a badass, and I love how she stands up for herself and how she's not afraid to do things. Love Sherlock, hate Mycroft, 4 stars. Then I read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I really love Lynn Painter. I think she's become one of my favorite authors. I love her writing. This book is so good. This is my favorite one of hers. It's honestly one of my favorite books ever. 5 stars. Enjoyed it. I love Wes. I love Wes. I love Wes. That's all I have to say. Then I read The Risk, the first book in the Mindfuck series by S.D. Abbey. I was expecting a lot from it because people have said that if you love Criminal Minds, you're gonna love this. I love Criminal Minds, but I don't love this. I gave it 1 star. I think it was annoying. The writing wasn't that good. And I just didn't like the characters. So, I don't know if I'm ever going to continue that series, but I didn't enjoy it. Then I read probably everyone's favorite book of the year, Fourth Wing, and I did enjoy it. I tabbed it a bit in the end. Wasn't planning on it, but then I had to. I also think I underlined quite a lot. But only at the end, like the last 30% maybe. I ended up annotating it. I did enjoy this. I gave it 5 stars. I love it. I'm excited for the next one. I heard bad reviews about that one, but that's not what we're going to talk about now. The first, like, 4 chapters maybe, I was like, this isn't special. I don't like it. But then I fell for it and I love it. 5 stars. Love the characters. Then I read Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, and I gave that one 5 stars as well. Like, thinking back on it, I don't think it's a 5-star read. It's probably a 4-star read, but I loved Aelid, and I loved like the friendship of it. I love that all of her books aren't romances. They're like stories about so much more than romance. And one thing that bothers me is that they took Aelid out of Heartstopper, the show. I want him. I love Aelid. But I don't remember much of the storyline. I remember them going to his university, but that's about it. I also really want to say about The Risk that it felt like a copy of Criminal Minds. Like, Lana is just so much like Garcia. Like, you can tell that they took... Lana is not the one I'm thinking of, it's another person. who's just a copy of Garcia, and then Logan is supposed to be a profiler. Like, how are you not seeing any of this? Then Fourth Wing. No, we did Fourth Wing. Radio Silence. I actually gave it 4.75, not 5 stars. So that's a bit better, but I think I would lower it a bit more. What is the next one I read? There we go. Icebreaker. 3.75. Didn't enjoy it as much as everyone else did. I feel like it got better at the end, but the female main character was annoying and I didn't like her. And she was just being mean, like for no reason. But I did fall for it a bit at the end. But I need to stop rating books because the ending is good, so I'm stuck at the 3.75. Then I read Red, White and Royal Blue. One of my favorite reads of the year, one of my favorite books. I really enjoyed this one. Perfect. It's a story about the Prince of England and the first son of America. And they fall in love. And I just loved it. I loved like the little rivalry going on. Them, like the whole relationship was just so good, and I loved it. And 5 stars. I'm so glad I read it. Next up we have The Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. This is a collection of short stories about the saints of the Grishaverse. It wasn't very well. It's not a story. It's like a continuing story, so I didn't really get much from it. But I think it's very interesting to see the saints of the Grishaverse, because they're mentioned in the books, but here you like get their background story. This is who the saint is, and I did enjoy that. I think I did not rate this book actually, because like, how do I rate it? It's more of like I don't even know, but I did enjoy it. I'm glad I read it, and I love the whole Grishaverse. I ended up reading The Summer I Turned Pretty this year. I have a reading vlog up of it. Obviously the first one, The Summer I Turned Pretty, 5 stars, really enjoyed it. I felt like a child again, like you're reading at night when you're supposed to sleep. That's how I felt. Like I couldn't put it down. I cried a lot in this series. I get the stories of this whole series mixed up a bit, so I don't remember what happened in which book, but one thing though, I hated the characters, all of them, but that also made me like them, because it was so more realistic than a lot of books are. Like, it was a real story. The camera turns off after a while, so we're just gonna have to move on. I don't know if you heard everything, because I don't know exactly when it stopped. Then I read It's Not Summer Without You, rated this one 5 stars as well. If you want more of my opinions of this, you can watch the video. Then, where are we? Which pile is next? That one. I read Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, her first, well, the first adult novel that I read by her. I wasn't sure what to expect because I really loved her YA things, but I have a video of this as well, I think. I was starting reading it and I thought, I'm gonna read this because I don't need to film my reactions, and then I need to film my reactions. So I did in fact love this book. I'm so excited. This was such a good book, and I loved the mailman character. 5 stars. Actually, I see here that I rated it 4.75 stars. Yeah, because it's not perfection. Like, I forgot that I was going to change my rating, so I'm probably not going to do that. It's just 4.75. I hate that on Goodreads you can't put in like the points. I want my 4.75 rating to be on Goodreads, but it's not. But I'm going to see if I can find the next one I read. Is it on here? Next I read was I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. Gave this 4.75 stars. I enjoyed it. I found it very relatable. It's about like a fangirl life and friendship, and you got like I don't know. I wish they would have just talked to each other. But I did enjoy it, and I loved it, and I'm glad I read it. Then I read Sword of Destiny by, I don't know how to say his name. But I'm trying to find my reviews so I can tell you my rating. I gave it 4 stars. What can I say about this? This is a collection of 6 short stories. The last 3 were my favorites. After reading this, I'm way more excited about reading the rest of the novels than I was after reading the first one. Because like I said, they are very heavy reads, and the writing is just a bit confusing. It's very slow. But after like the three last stories, I got really used to the writing and I really enjoyed it. So I feel like you should push through even if you don't like it in the beginning, because I'm so excited to read the rest of it. We'll Always Have Summer. I gave that one 4 stars, I think. 4.25. I enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite in the series. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I give this 5 stars. It's my favorite one of her books. I really enjoyed that the third act conflict in this wasn't that bad, because I hate that. But in this one it was done so well. I loved both the male main character and the female main character, and I just loved their relationship and the story, and it was so interesting, and I loved it. 5 stars. Then I tried to read The Last Dragon King, but I DNF'd it because the writing was so bad. I was excited for the story, but I just couldn't get past the writing, so don't recommend. The Mysterious Affair Styles by Agatha Christie. I watched this show a bit as a child, so it was fun to see the book. I think I like the book more than I like the show. That's not true. That is a bit... I don't know. After reading the book, I like the show more. So, I don't really know. The wind is getting crazy. But I really enjoyed this. I like that we were following Hastings and not Poirot, so we like learned things at the same time as he did and the other characters, and I find that very interesting. What did I rate it? 4.75? 4.25 actually, I guess. Then I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I rated it 4.5 stars. I don't love it as much as everyone else did. I did tab it, but I was deciding to do that before I even started the book, so I don't remember everything happening in this book. I don't know, it was a good read. I liked the characters. I found Reese insufferable. I know, don't say anything. I love the timeline in this one. Again, don't say anything. 4.5 stars. Another one of my favorite reads of the year, Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I really love this one. Like, this is the best thriller I've ever read. I was very confused a bit at the end there. I have a reading vlog of this one as well, and I think my reactions to this is my favorites ever, so I'm so glad I filmed it. Loved the book, 5 stars. I need to read more of her books. Loveless by Alice Oseman, 3.5 stars. I was very underwhelmed. I was expecting more. This one was very boring. I didn't connect to the characters or the story. Some things were very relatable, and I did feel a lot, and I did cry a lot. But I find it kind of boring. Like, it was the last 30% that I enjoyed. So, I'm stuck at 3.5. Then I read The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. This one was very disappointing. I have been hearing about this book as a thriller. When I bought the book, it was on a table with thrillers. But this is not a thriller. There's nothing thrilling about this book. It was boring. It was confusing. I think if this was like advertised as a fictionalized documentary, I would have really enjoyed it. But I was expecting a thriller. And then, like, all of the things it says on the back, it wasn't important at all. And I feel like the things you put on the back should be the important part of the story. But it wasn't. It was boring. The first thing on the back happened and I was just so underwhelmed. Like, are you not gonna do anything about it? Like, is nothing happening? It's like, no, we write a report and then we move on. In December, I read some ebooks. I read Better Than the Prom because it was free on Simon Teen. I rated that one 3 stars. It was cute. It was very simple. I love Wes. That's really all I have to say about this book. Then I read Better Than Before. I gave that 3 stars as well. It's cute and simple, and I'm excited for Betting on You, because I think that was a prequel. It's about how the characters meet. And then Better Than the Prom is like a short story or novella for Better Than the Movies, which is one of my favorite books. But in both of them, I loved seeing more of Wes. That's really all I enjoyed about it, seeing Wes. I feel like Wes is like the perfect book boyfriend. I want a Wes in my life. But then I moved on to Heartstopper Volume 5. I rated this 4.75 stars. I loved the story. I wish they would have spent more time like talking about things. Like, you had like their different issues and things they were thinking of, and just take a little more time to talk about it and it would have been perfect. Also, I want a book with Tao and Elle. Just give me a book with them, please. Then I read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This is a screenplay, so it's kind of hard to read in the beginning. But as I got more used to like this style of reading, it got a lot better and I did enjoy it. The characters were changed. They were annoying, especially Harry. Like, why are you acting like this? But I feel like every character had their redemption arc at the end, so it was fine. I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm trying to find a way to watch this play. I need to go to London. I need to go to London and watch this play. I don't even have words for this next one. Magnolia Parks, a new favorite. I never thought I would love a book more than Crooked Kingdom, but with this one I might. Masterpiece. Heartbreaking, soul-crushing. So good. The writing of this book, I have never seen anything like it before. I need this book. I need this book injected into me. I have no words. Moving on. I wasn't planning on reading the rest of this series yet, but now I have to. I love this book, and I was like underlining a bit, like a lot. And then I tabbed it. I put one tab up here. Like, now I'm just gonna read it, I'm gonna stop underlining, and I'm gonna go back and do that later. Lasted 1 page, and then I kept like underlining every single sentence. Love it. 5-star. Favorite read. Then I read Priest by Sierra Simone. I tabbed this a bit as well. I did enjoy it. I haven't exactly decided on a rating yet because I'm a bit confused. I think I'm landing on a 3.5 or a 3.75 because the book is very spicy and that's basically all there is. But like after 65% through the book, it started having a bit of a story, and I loved it after that. I loved it in the beginning, but like, it was hard for me to pick up because I know like spice is all I'm gonna get, and I love that, but I need more. But then it got better. You got more of like feelings and emotions, and I like that. And then the last few lines ruined it. Like, why? That was a good ending. Don't ruin it with that. And then the epilogue. Waste of time. Shouldn't have been there. It would have been better without it. So that was all of the books I read in 2023. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, maybe comment down below your favorite book you read in 2023. I want to know. I want to get to know you guys. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm excited for this new reading year, and I'm excited to get into some more books and share all of my reviews with you. That's it. Peace out, lovers.